Welcome to Real Estate Success DFW, the podcast where top producing agents from Dallas-Fort Worth come together to share their stories and strategies behind their success. I'm Shaune, Corbett, your host, and with over 300 million sold in the local real estate market and the honor of being best of B multiple times, I know what it takes to make it in this market. Each episode, we're going to dive into the world of real estate, learning from the very best in the industry. If you're ready to level up your game, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hey everyone, Shaune Corbett, Real Estate Success DFW, and I've got a special guest, Brandon Scribner with eXp. How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing good, Shaune. I appreciate the opportunity of being here, man. How are you?
Above average today. You and I are doing this on a Friday, so it's a very good day. We got a good weekend coming. We got spring break next week. You guys have spring break?
Yeah, so my daughter's actually turning 5 this weekend, and my daughter and wife actually share the same birthday, so it is a good weekend. But she won't be attending school until next year.
Okay. So you and I got connected through a guy named Tyler Hogden, and I think I always, anytime I have an opportunity, someone hands me someone that's really good and successful, I want to give credit back to the person that shared Brandon, you with me, and Tyler is the one that connected us, NXT Mortgage, and you and I just happened to run into each other again at one of Tyler's training events. So that was really good. It was a very good experience for me, and sounds like it was a good experience for you.
Most definitely it was, man. It was nice to actually meet you before we hop on this podcast. I know we talked a few times in here, but when I saw you, I was like, oh man, I know this guy. So it was good.
But it's not always the case. Normally we do these, a lot of times I do them with people I've not even had a chance to talk with sometimes. I'm moving a little beyond that. I'm trying to get to know them a little better to make it easier and more casual when we do these conversations. But it was great to be able to see you in person. So let's talk with just basics. We'll get to know you a little bit. How long have you been in real estate?
So it's going to be 4 years, April 20th to the exact.
Okay. 4 years in real estate. What got you into real estate? Why'd you decide to do this?
Yeah, man. So background story, I actually went to UTD for a neuroscience degree. I was very fascinated by why people do the things they do. So I was going the pre-med route. Within my junior year, I was sitting down, staring at my whiteboard, drawing, organic chemistry chemicals. I was like, man, dude, I don't know if I can do this anymore. It was boring. And then I was so far into my studies that I couldn't turn around and do something else. So I was like, you know what? Instead of being a doctor, let me sell to the doctors. So my first job out of high school was college was medical sales. I did that for 3.5 years. And to be quite honest, I actually hated it. My boss sucked, company culture didn't feel right. And then come around March 2020 is when my daughter was born. And I kind of had this little epiphany, like I'm not enjoying what I do. I'm taking a lot of time away from my family, whether it's traveling or just hopping on these calls I wasn't necessarily passionate about. And it kind of just led me down a spiral. Okay, hey, what do I do next? There was COVID freeze, hiring freeze. I was a pretty good top performer at the medical sales company. I was applying to other medical sales companies and they did not ever call me back. And I was getting a little frustrated. So I actually called one of my coworkers who actually quit. And he was like, hey, Brandon, maybe you should try real estate. I had no idea what was going on in the market. I had no idea how real estate even worked, man. But I was so frustrated and not happy with the position I was in. I looked at the job description and was like, hey, you make your own hours. There's no boss. This isn't that. I was that driven to do it. And I kind of fell into it by accident. So I started studying for my courses, passed the exam, and just told my company, peace, I'm doing this. And it's just how I kind of got into real estate, man. And I think it kind of goes back to what I was doing before. Did I hate my medical sales job? Yes. Was I making a difference? Absolutely. I was helping the geriatric population. So I was working with a lot of skilled nursing homes, home health, hospices. So real estate kind of brings me back to that service of serving others. I was going to be in pre-med, right? So I've always been trying to take care of somebody. So now I can actually fulfill that passion, but in a different aspect of the space and actually have fun doing what I do. So that's how I got into real estate.
Oh, I love it. That's a really good, space and story. And obviously it leads you to opportunities for specific types of clients in that space.
Yes.
I do find that, we can have enough drive to overcome the challenges of getting into the business if our why is strong enough. No way I want to go back to this, so I better make this work. That can create a serious incentive for you. And you've got family, right? You've got a little one, your wife, you got a young kid. I mean, it's time to I got to make this work.
And honestly, that's what it was, man. Like I burned all the bridges. I knew when I had my exit interview, I was never going to get another job in the medical space again. Was it a very crazy thing for me to do? Yes, but I was that driven and believed in what I was going to do for my family. And didn't look back that there was no plan B. The only plan was make it happen in real estate. And here I am about to be 4 years later and it's still going.
Yeah. And you've done incredible. That's why you're on the podcast.
Thank you.
It's really important.
I appreciate
that I get people that do have, and in 4 years is a short term in our business, but you have a lot of sales that make up the difference, which is why it's important that I talk with people that have a story to tell, that've sold enough real estate, they can share real experience on how you've had that success.
Yeah.
You know, that's a real important component. Do you have a particular niche that really calls out to you that you're really excited about?
First time homebuyers is always a fun thing, right? But now I'm getting into the commercial space. I'm liking the intricacies of how commercial works with different zoning plannings, the different ways you can structure a lease or a buy sale. Like that's what I'm getting into. I work with a lot of investors as well. But I guess going back to your question, I don't necessarily have a niche. I'm still 4 years in, so I'm still trying to find my way through it. I guess is the best way to answer your question.
And sometimes the niche will find you. You know, all of a sudden you realize that looking back, either these are the people I like to work with, or I keep selling this type of thing over and over. So I just continue that path. And then now you can even funnel and focus your social media and things like that in that space. And I've seen you on social media. You've got some killer stuff out there. You do both personal and business on your social media. What kind of advice do you have, or what has been your approach to handling, you know, posting on social media and getting your name out there?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess when I first started, I was debating, hey, should I do a business page for real estate or should I just continue posting on my personal page? And my thought was, well, I already have all these connections on my personal page. Why should I restart? You know, why do I need to reinvent the wheel? Let me just post on my personal page. And I think by doing that, there's more relatability to me. Clients already, or whoever you want to call it, already follow me on Facebook. They see what I do day to day, in and out, like hanging with family, my hobbies. It creates that personal level. And I learned early on that people like doing business with people they know. And in order to know, you got to trust them and they'll eventually do business with you. So it's just a mix of both that combine together and allows me to have fun while doing it as well. So don't be afraid to mix both. It's at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's your brand. Build your brand. Your brand is your personal self at some point. So have fun with both.
I agree with you. I think that it does make a big difference when, you know, you meet someone for the first time. Like, it's funny, like you and I, we met, we knew exactly who we were, you know, just by, I saw like, that's Brandon, you know, because I've seen you on social media, you know, and I've seen you doing jujitsu and some of that stuff. And I said, well, I could probably take him. Just kidding. I did wrestling in high school, and it's not probably anywhere near as long or experience you've got, but the muscle memory is unbelievable today. You know, we had arm drags. I could do fireman carries, single legs, double legs, you know, we call lateral drops. I mean, I could do all these same moves today that I learned back in high school, and that was over 20 years ago. So
let's go.
So you were talking about having a hobby in jiu-jitsu. Tell us about how that has helped you in this space.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I think anything you do, like whether it's real estate, business, even if you have a W-2 job, you got to find some hobby, right? And it's a way for you to express yourself, way for you to get out of what you do day to day and actually enjoy yourself. So, I mean, in wrestling, it sucks to be pinned down. It sucks to have someone hovering over your body or just applying their weight to you. You can kind of translate it into like the real world as well. Like, man, there's nothing that sucks more than having someone try to choke you out or putting you in an arm bar or putting you in an uncomfortable situation. And it builds tough skin for you. So it also helps me when I'm opening houses as well or traveling around. Like, I feel more protected if someone tries to do anything, but also it's another way for you to, I don't want to say, hey, find a hobby to generate business, right? But in reality, it does. Because when you have that community and that community knows what you do, what you stand for, it makes it easier for you to get business if they like you, of course.
I think the simple fact, even if they have zero interest in jujitsu, they see you outside of just talking about houses.
Yeah.
There's that organic element that we get to know more about you as a person and not just, here's a house I've got for sale. Here's the market. Here's the rates. Oh, I just closed a house. That doesn't speak to people. But okay, he's out there throwing someone around, or, now he's on his back, going to get pinned. What's he going to do? I mean, it creates a little bit more organic connection, right? So my thing is grilling. I'm not particularly great at it, but I really enjoy doing it over a couple of hours and just having nothing going on. Because
Yeah.
I think most of us live real intense lives, and I have a real problem with relaxation. I can't sit on my couch at home.
Yeah.
I mean, if I sit on my couch, I'll go to sleep.
And that's the thing too, is like whenever you walk on the mats, for me at least, like all the outside noise is it's done. This is
Yeah.
all I'm focusing on right here. And then with any other physical activity, after you do it, you feel better. So it's really helped me as a stress management, and also just forming deep relationships with the people at my gym. They're a pretty integral part of my life. I trust them with a lot of things, and vice versa. My family actually does it. So my wife does it, and my soon to be 5-year-old does it as well. And fun story about that, like a lot of people are like, oh, how'd you get into jiu-jitsu? When I tell my wife got me into it, they're like, what? Seriously? Not the other way around? I remember I was like sitting at home, like working on my office, and she comes over, oh, let me try something on you. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Not in my household. So then I got to the gym because of her.
Okay. It's a yoga or something that just drops everything, clear your mind, and then you don't think about all the different challenges and stuff we're trying to work through. I do like that. I appreciate that. So you talk about the power of community and how it's important for your business and personal life. What's really important about that for you?
I think as human beings, you want to be a part of something, right? So whether it's chess club, whatever, it's you got to find your tribe, find your pack. And through either my relationships with folks from my jiu-jitsu gym or folks that I play sports with, it helps me feel like a better person per se, because now I'm getting all the stress out. I get to do what I want to do with people, deepening relationships. It's helped me calm down a bit, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
You feel like you've got a real intense personality and this helps kind of mellow you, ground
Yeah,
you?
I believe so.
Okay. I can relate. I'm outrageously tense. So it's good for anything that can slow me down and not, let's solve this, let's get this worked out. How is it? Do you build continuing ed and seminars and things like that into your regular schedule as far as, growing and learning?
I try to. I mean, I'm a nerd, I guess if you want to call it like that. I've always been interested in learning. So, and I always know too, the more you learn, the more you earn. So, as long as it's a good training, you're going to benefit from it. You're going to leave that training with something you didn't know before. So, I'm really heavy on continuing education. I try to do 2 classes a month per se, wherever I can find it, or I'll just do my own due diligence, reading on things, keeping up with trends. I do incorporate into my schedule.
Yeah. So that's a kind of a mission that you have. You want to have a couple of training sessions you schedule out each month. I think it's fantastic. I'm in the same. I try to get one training or networking opportunity once a week is really where I'm really hyper focused, because I'm isolated. I'm in my office. I'm selling houses here, and I don't have a big community. I've done that for many years. People know me because of the transactions that I do, but beyond that, I'm not getting to know them. So
Yeah,
getting out and doing things like that, I think all agents should take advantage of that opportunity. Get in the community. Don't just stay with your broker. Let's hear what other people are doing.
for sure. And you kind of just hit the nail on the head right there. Like you said, working as a real estate agent, it can be really lonely sometimes. You're in your own island. That's why having a community of friends, whatever you got is very important, because it breaks you out of that mold. So I'm right with you on that one.
So how do you find, I mean, and this might be even getting more detailed, on your social media, you find out kind of qualify, do you go professional or do you go fun? Or do you have kind of a mix? Do you have I've heard different percentages is a good way to kind of look at your posts and stuff like that. And you don't have to have a fan page, or I call it a fan page. That's what they used to call it. You don't have to have a Facebook page, right?
Yeah.
Because Facebook pages, I'll be honest, so you don't have one at all. Is that correct?
I used to have one, man, but honestly, trying to toggle back and forth with it, I just stuck with one, which is my personal page.
Sometimes you don't know what to post on. the professional page. And honestly, all it is to me is like a Google business page that people really don't visit. I get almost virtually no traffic. And I think the purpose of the Facebook page is so Facebook can make money because you have to pay to get any type of engagement.
Yeah.
So I think just getting on your personal and really maximizing that opportunity, getting out, talking, and having a good mix. So I talked about how do you decide if you want to be more fun or professional, and if you have a percent mix, how do you approach that?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't have a percent mix to it. And the way I see it, I just have fun, right? As long as I'm being authentic and I'm relaying the information that actually is accurate, I'm not lying to anybody, have both, right? Because I came from a world in medical sales where everything was just kind of cutthroat, dry. Like there's nothing fun about the work I was doing. I kind of felt isolated in a bit. And so when I first got into this job as well, in this role that I'm doing, I kind of tried to do the similar things, but I was like, you know what? This is cool, but not cool. And then I just let my personality flourish. The moment I did that, I kind of just saw more deals coming through, people sharing my stuff, people reaching out to me like, hey, Brent, I need help with this, or my aunt, uncle, whatever you name it, right? So what I would tell people is just be authentic, right? Don't try to be someone you're not, because the people are going to sniff that out. So if your personality is like data analytics or very soft-spoken, reserved, don't try to be an outspoken person, right? And the same thing on the other side. If you're very extroverted, don't try to be someone you're not. So to answer your question, I don't have a mix to it. I just bring who I am to the table, and it makes it easier for you to make content that way, because I'm not pretending to be anybody. So sure. Be fun, be professional, be whatever you want to be. Just make sure you be you and just have fun with it. And I think that itself is going to help you break into the business or do whatever you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing it and I'm pretty much a talking head. I'm boring. So, and that's where I'm at. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But it's, even Facebook posts, I post thought-provoking questions, It's not meant to be entertaining. It's not to be overly political. A lot of things I post are political for sure, but it's meant to come at a place that we should be thinking about this, not, demagoguing it. Why do you think realtors fail in the first 2 years?
I think, I just had this conversation with my wife too. If you haven't been in a commission role, or let's say an entrepreneur like role, you come from the W-2 background, which is nothing wrong with that, right? The moment you get hired, you kind of have a set of rules or plays, procedures to do. You have someone training you on this and that, tell you to do this, but coming over here on this side, yes, they may give you all that stuff, but no one's going to track your metrics, so like no one's going to tell you, hey, you didn't do this, go do this, or else you'll get fired, or things of that sort. So I think when they get into this role, they don't, I'm trying to formulate my thoughts, they still try to treat it as a job, when it's a little different. Because this way, in the role that we do now, you actually have to go hunt and kill your own food per se. You got to do everything without someone watching your back. And I think folks treat it like a job instead of an entrepreneurship role, which truly it is. You're building your own business compared to working for a business. I think that's the main factor. I think some folks are lost sometimes. They don't know exactly what to do. They're in a wrong support system, whatever it is. But I think it's going back to the first one. They treat it like a job when really it's more than a job.
It is, and I agree with you. I think that especially some of the generations that have come through where they don't have firm foundation on a lot of basic things, unfortunately, you're coming a little behind the generation ahead of you, and they really floundered. They weren't getting married. They weren't buying a home. They weren't having kids. They would rather have a dog than a kid. And a whole lot of that was taking place. So a lot of them were floundering through, and being an agent would be a real challenge if you didn't have a firm foundation and knowing that you're not going to be told what to do every step of the way. I've had people join my group that just didn't work out because they wanted me to hold their hand on every step. And I'm like, this is an entrepreneur job. You're not a W-2. I'm not going to, I can create some opportunities for you, but you can't live on what I'm giving you. You're going to have to find a way to build your own future. That's a real important, thing to consider if you're going to get into this space. And when I took the class back in 2005, 4, it was a long time ago. They told us at class, we had pen and paper. We didn't have computers. It was a long time ago. They would They said, hey, 6 months, you're not getting a check. So prepare yourself. And there were no like, I'm going to do this part-time kind of thing. It's either you're getting the license with the intent to make it a
Yeah.
career. And that's the way we thought about it, those early 2000s. And your options were brick and mortars. There were no cloud-based options, you know. So it's just kind of
Yeah.
interesting how it's changed.
Yeah, and the thing I didn't mention either is find out what your why is, right? Like, why did you get into the business? Did you think it was just fun? And that's probably partially our fault too, at least for my generation. Like when you just post just closed or look at this brand new house, like, does it look fun to you? Did no one to kind of explain it to you? And I think finding out what your why really dictates how well you'll do in any business, right? Whether you want to be an accountant, if your family's your why, you're going to make it happen. So I think people, maybe we talk about this offline, but some folks are lost. So
Yeah,
you got to find out your why, and if that why is strong enough, you'll figure out the how.
it's exactly right. The purpose of a why is to get past the no's. If I don't have a strong enough why, then every doubt or things that come through will make it harder for me to move forward and continue to progress. You have to have purpose for sure. And it's a hard place to just show up and think that it's going to be handed to you. And there's a perception that agents make a lot of money without a lot of work. There is a
Yeah,
total perception of that. And there are scenarios where it can happen that way. But the other 95% of the time, there's a whole lot of extra things you have to do in order to get it set up where you can create a scenario where you can make money. You don't make money on every deal. There's deals that we work and we spend hours and months and get paid nothing.
yeah,
I mean, I've got one I'm interviewing. I wouldn't say interviewing. Most of the time, I don't do any type of interviews. But they want me to list their house, and now we're going to walk through the listing agreement, all that kind of stuff. But I've already set him up on a builder lender to build out their next house. I've already given them the exact plan to set up their current house for sale, and we're still about 2 months out, so I can't do a listing agreement yet.
yeah,
And he's like, "Well, send that over," and that inevitably we're going to be talking about the cost to sell. And although I've already done a large percentage of the work and how we're going to structure this and get it sold, I don't get paid for any of that. It's just one of those things that it's part of the business. And quite honestly, 3% of all real estate agents are making 150 or more a year, GCI, gross commission. So that means
wow,
97% don't make enough to really support a family, because at 150 GCI, you still have to pay brokers, you still have to pay your dues, your MLS,
yeah,
your staff, your photos, all the costs to run your business, any leads you pay for. You may only net about 80, 85 before paying yourself anything if you decide to pay
correct.
yourself that way. I can't raise a family of four myself with $80,000. I can't. I mean, I'm sure there's situations that you could, but I certainly wouldn't be selling to the clients that I'm selling to if that's where I was. I'd be living in the hood. So anyway, that's just something that people don't understand or think about. So it's not for everyone, it's not a business for everyone for sure. Any other thoughts
Yeah,
on some of that?
yeah, for sure. The one thing too, so like I've learned the number one complaint with real estate agents, I guess the consumers have against us is communication, right? So going back to where you say, they don't see the dirty work. So I make it a point to tell my clients, hey, this is what we accomplished, or hey, this is what I'm currently doing. So if like a listing's been sitting for a minute, like I tell, hey, I reached out to X amount of people. Here's how many views we went up. Like I make it very vocal what I am doing. So there is no disconcernment of, okay, hey, is Brandon just sitting on his butt doing nothing? So I make sure my clients know exactly what I'm doing because I'm proving my worth. And by them knowing that, it only opens me up to more referrals. Because at the end of the day, I'm in this business to make money and take care of my family, but also take care of other people. So if I can combine all that together, it's a win-win. I can lay my head down at night because I know I didn't cheat anybody over. I'm providing for my family and I'm helping somebody else get what they want. Zig Ziglar said himself, you can get what you want in life if you help other people. And that's really stuck with me. And that's something I'm leaning more into as I'm getting older. And how can I pour back into community like what you're doing right now, Shaune? Like I'm helping other agents, right? Because I've been in that space before and I had a really good mentor to help me, to set me up to where I'm at now. I'm not a perfectionist at all this. I'm not going to call me a master of whatever, right? But I have a good enough skill set that I was taught from somebody that I can hone and give it to somebody else. Because I mean, my clients gave me the life that I have now. How can I help someone else achieve the same type of lifestyle, right? So it's one of my things I'm working on too.
That's good. I've never heard anyone say it that way. I've never thought about, laying out all the things you're doing on the backside. that they don't know about. I generally
Mhm.
don't. I generally just solve real estate problems. I generally minimize touches. And anytime I have a
Yeah.
communication with them, I have next step. So they always have confidence in where we're going and what we're doing. But I haven't thought about all the work I'm doing that they don't know about. That's a very good tip that I would
Thanks.
probably think to implement in some of the things that I'm doing. Because there's things we do that, I'm not going to tell you I made that phone call or I did this or,
Yeah.
I worked that deal out or, hey, the reason why I'm giving you this house is because the other five don't work and here's all the reasons, you know, whatever it is. That's a really good tip I think agents can learn from. Do you
Yeah, for
have,
sure.
go ahead.
Yeah, we can, and having this conversation with me and you right now, like we all know something that the other person doesn't know, and this iron sharpens iron. Like we can only have these type of things if we talk.
Yeah.
So what you're doing right now is awesome. Like you're helping a whole crowd of agents, whether you're experienced or new. Like anyone can benefit from the video. So appreciate what you do, Shaune.
Okay. Well, we're going to post it and you're going to share it too and grow
Let's
and help
go.
yourself. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go, man.
So this is a challenge all agents have. Let's go back
Hmm.
to the fact that you're a 1099. No one's telling you what to
Hmm.
do. How do you manage your time and resources? Because we only have so many days and hours in the day, and most agents aren't doing a lot of real money making opportunities during the day. They don't prioritize. They might make phone calls, they might drive around and look at neighborhoods, but they don't really have a concise plan of what we're building on every single week, to get to the goal that
Yeah.
they want to get to. Because most agents let things happen to them.
Yeah.
And they find out, wow, I didn't let enough things happen to me and I didn't sell enough real estate. You got to create.
Yes. I am guilty of that, Shaune, to be honest with you. I just recently, these past 2 months, worked on a weekly schedule, daily type schedule stuff. I was kind of almost in the crowd of let things happen to me, but also I was still doing some work. I wasn't intentional with it, I guess is the best way to put it. But now I am intentional. So I used to post content, but what was the purpose of it? I used to not track my leads or my messages. It was all in my mental. But at some point, I was like, I'm getting exhausted. I'm forgetting a few things. I'm taking away time from my family. And I had this epiphany. Actually, it's what Tyler, that's what happened. So Tyler called me up to his office, like, hey, Brandon, let's do like a yearly review. Like, let's look at 2024, what we can do for 2025. And dude, he just kicked my butt, dude. He's like, what do you mean you don't have this? Like, are you not tracking this? And it kind of just spun the wheels in my head. Like, wait a minute, I'm doing all these deals and transactions willy-nilly. Imagine what I could do if I actually honed down and track things, measure things, have things scheduled out, right? So for example, my schedule now looks like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I wake up at 5 a.m., I hit the gym, and I'm in the office by 9 o'clock. And then from 9 to 12, I'm prospecting. From 12 to 4, I'll have appointments, whether I go do showings or whether I'm having consultations. So everything, the magic happens between 9 to 4. And if I have clients that want to show houses or see houses after 4, of course, I always make exceptions, right? You always got to make exceptions to your rule. But I try to get showing agents now, showing agents that I trust. And I kind of build my clients up too. So whenever I go tour with them, I teach them, hey, here's what you look for. Look at this. This is good. This is not good. So I empower them to where whenever they do walk with the showing agent, they know exactly what to look for. So I'm very intentional about time blocking and also turning it off when I need to turn it off, because as much as my work is important, so is my family. And my daughter is getting older. I'm realizing time is finite, right? My family is getting older, and I just had this revelation, if lack of a better word, that I need to manage this better. Otherwise, I'm going to run myself to the ground, and I do not want that to happen.
Well, the work controls you, right? Versus you
Mm.
controlling the work. And we measure what we treasure.
Yeah,
So if you don't track or keep up with something, then it's not important to you. And if it's not important to you, you have no way of metric of growth. And then there's no
mm.
way to know if you're improving or not. So it's just some basic things to kind of think through. How are you doing with technology and the digital marketing? How about AI? I mean, where are you at in that space there? Because that's kind of the next level that at
Yeah.
this point, all of us are having to wrestle. If we're not doing it, we may be left without it and left behind.
For sure. So, I mean, it may sound very generic, but I'm learning how to use Chat GBT better, learning the prompts to ask. I'm running through situations like, I have full on conversations with Nova, is her name that she gave herself, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm using that to kind of, okay, hey, what's the frame line? But I'm going to create like a drip campaign. What should it look like? What should I have on here? Hey, can you review this? What does this look like? Can you make this more enticing? I know there's other AI options there too, where you can like they can talk for you in that sense, but I'm not comfortable doing that side yet. But I utilize ChatGPT a lot, not on the surface level, but I try to go a little bit deeper, and it's coming out pretty well so far.
Yeah, it's going to be a space where if we're not using it, we're going to be left behind. They have in other spaces, there's AI is actually selling real estate. And I know this is really hard to believe, but it's gotten so sophisticated, it can actually have enough conversation, not just price, lot. It can actually tell you, well, here's the upside about this property, and it'll go through
Yeah.
some really good detailed information. And then the prompt questions will allow it to use its AI to give you proper responses. And it'll actually learn you, and then it'll give you really good information. It's pretty incredible if you watch some of these conversations happening. Now, you AI is not taking the human out of it, and there's different reasons why it can't, but at some point it's going to take a lot of the things that we're doing. And what's going to happen, the way I see it, is we're going to have a lot less agents, probably making, I hate to say it this way, but we'll probably make less, but there'll be far fewer agents, and you'll do more transactions. And our focus is on the important human element that AI can't replace. So there's going to be an opportunity where that may be the direction that real estate has to go in order to stay competitive. But who knows? I mean, it could be 10 years from now, it could be 5 years from now. We're going to see some big changes in the next few years.
Yeah, so let's flip the script. So I guess what are you using on AI right now for your business, if you don't mind sharing?
No, I don't mind. I share everything on my platform, on my school platform, where I put all of my training classes and stuff. I actually provide that to agents in there. It's a free community that I have available, and I'm showing them how we can actually, I'll give you an example. I created a song in the style of kind of a 70s country on a property I had listed, and I listed out all the highlights and perks about the property. And I used ChatGPT to write the lyrics. And then I used another program to actually create the music and the song and the singing. And it sounds like a professional recorded song specifically for this property. And it runs for about 3 minutes. And it was free to do. Well, I pay for ChatGPT. I pay for the upgrade because I think ChatGPT is important. It's only $20 a month. But the program that created all of it, they gave me 5 free songs. So I created that and I posted it out there. And then I did a 10-minute video showing you how to write the script, how to use what type of genre you want to use, and then how to have the program actually create it for you. And then you can run it through a slideshow on your house, So it was pretty cool. That's just one example of something I've done with it. I don't have it replacing me. I don't have it on any of my chats. And I don't do chats. Brandon, to be honest with you, I don't generally work with anybody I don't know, like, or trust.
Yeah.
Kind of weird this way. I've just done this for a long time. I don't have cold marketing. People call me just about every single day. I get a lead, an opportunity, and I work only with people that know, like, and trust me.
Yeah.
And I tell them when I'm going to work and kind of how it's going to work for both of us. And I solve real estate problems. That's really my specialty. It's not a lot of touchy feely. My average ticket's about $380,000. So I don't have a lot of these concierge $1 million. We've got to hold hands and take you to Starbucks every day. That's not my space.
Yeah.
And I don't teach that space. I don't have any cold lead generating opportunities. It's only sphere of influence. That's why I've mastered that space.
Well, and that speaks the test of your character and your work, because if most of your business comes from sphere of influence, I mean, you did a really dang good job with whoever you worked with before, that they're putting your name out there. So that's a testament to your work.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Let's talk about, because, man, you and I could talk for a while. We've got a lot of fun stuff we're talking about. Let's talk about some things you want to promote. Why don't you share that and tell me, what do you have that would benefit agents out there and something you want to help share?
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate the opportunity. So we have broker agnostic sales training and leadership training every Wednesday at 11 a.m. in Plano. You can look up Invest Office. That's spelled ENGVEST. It's from 11 to 1. We'll have, like, for example, on March 26th, I am going to be teaching on Google Business, how to leverage it to gain more business, how to use that to show your credibility with your clients. And we are also doing, we had a social media training as well, public speaking. So it's a really roundabout sphere of agents collaborating together to raise the industry, right? Because we can all learn from something from each other. And the way unfortunately, the public perception of realtors right now, at least from I'm being told a lot, is not good. So how do we elevate each other to where the public actually trusts us? So that's something we do every single Wednesday in Plano at 11 a.m.
Okay, I love it. I'd like to actually attend.
Yeah, please do.
I'll have to check your calendar, see if I can be invited one time. That's fantastic. I think it's great. It's a give back, right? I mean, I think it's a great opportunity where we can help give back to the community. You call it broker agnostic. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Means I don't care if you're from KW, Real, EXP, a smaller brokerage, like you can attend. It's not just for my brokerage, which is EXP. No, it's for everybody. So we have folks from different brokerages coming together, collaborating, breaking bread with each other. And it's just nice to meet other people because we mentioned it before. When you're in real estate, sometimes it feels like an island, and this is a way for folks to get out there and talk to more people, meet new people, learn some things, and just network.
Very good, man. It's been a great podcast. I'm sure in a year or so, maybe we'll have you back on and we'll get some more updates on great things you're doing. I appreciate it. Thank you for you guys connecting with us. Again, this is Real Estate Success DFW. Another great opportunity. Brandon Scribner, we're going to have some details on how to get in contact with him. And I appreciate all of you and have a high performance week. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That wraps up another episode of Real Estate Success DFW. I hope you're leaving with new insights that push your real estate career forward. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with fellow agents who's ready to succeed. And if you're interested in working together or have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me directly. My personal phone is 214-228-0383. Let's connect and make real estate success happen together. Until next time, keep pushing forward. I'm Shaune Corbett, and this is the Real Estate Success DFW. Have a high performance week.